Hey guys, it's Mario from the World Knife Throwing League, and today I'm going to teach you how to fix over rotations and under rotations so you can get your knife to stick dead on the board. The concept is simple. It comes down to distance. So if I'm standing, let's say from 12 feet away, I already know my knife is going to over rotate. And I was able to tell and try to keep an eye of how the knife lands on the board. It's hard to see it in the air as soon as you release, but you can always tell when the knife hits the board. In my case, the knife actually hit almost handle first, which means it got 1.5 rotation. So when I threw it, it fully rotated, and then it should have stuck. Instead of sticking, there's too much distance, which caused it to rotate even more. And that's the key to fixing an over rotation, is to minimize that distance. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna throw it from 10 feet because my first throw was from about 11.5 to 12 feet. So now that I'm at the right distance that I know it will stick, I can throw it the exact same way and it will stick. Now, I have a slight under rotation, which I'm actually okay with. It's very difficult to stick it consistently straight on, but that's what you want. Now, I can easily fix that under rotation by stepping back probably 1/4 foot. So I'm gonna slightly adjust my throw and see if I can get it to stick perfectly dead on. And as you see there, it actually stuck almost perfectly dead on the board. So you do not want an under rotation that looks like that. You do not want an over rotation that looks like that. You want it to stick perfectly straight on so it lands and you don't have any drops. So the one thing to keep in mind is, as part of the World Knife Throwing League rules, is you can actually have it stick to the board, but if the tip isn't in the board, that actually doesn't count. It counts as a 0. So you have to make sure that the tip is in first. Now, if you have other knives where you want to actually have more coverage, it is actually then strategic to get as much coverage as possible. Now, certain knives have certain advantages. This knife is extremely light. I can stick it really well, but it's hard to get coverage, where other knives might be easier to get coverage, but it's hard for it to stick. So you have to make sure they're extremely sharp and they have the bevel so you can actually cover more distance. That way it increases your score. So every thrower has a knife that they each like, and they like it for certain reasons. Now, the one thing that you do risk when you do have an under rotation is that if the other knife hits it, it's so easy for it to get popped off, and that's why you want to make sure you stick the knife deep and straight into the board. So if you under rotate your knife, that usually means you're a bit close. That one was okay, but let's assume it landed like this. The only thing you have to do to fix the under rotation is to actually move a little bit back. So the over rotation, you want to move forward. The under rotation, you want to move a little bit back. And that way it gives the knife a bit more distance so it sticks straight on. Now, if you are right at the line, at the 10-foot mark, and you are still, say, over rotating, you are actually able to lean in over the line. And that distance will be enough to minimize the gap that is creating this over rotation. So let's assume for a second I am over rotating, and this is the line that I'm at. Normally I would throw like this, but now I'm gonna lean forward, and I'm probably, I'm still 1/2 foot forward from where the imaginary line would have been. So in that one I had an over rotation, but I purposely forced it because I'm actually throwing from 11 feet. From 11 feet, I shouldn't be sticking anything. But that goes to show you how small adjustments can actually change your throw. So just a quick summary, if you're over rotating, that means there's too much distance between you and the target. Minimize that by moving forward. If you are under rotating, that means you are too close to the target. You want to create a bit more distance, so take a step back, and that should fix your throw. Thanks for watching, everyone, and for more great content, please make sure you subscribe or follow us.